Namaste. Welcome to Notable Talks, powered by Microsoft and co-presented by Value Prospect Consulting. I'm your host, Harsha Avasthi. Notable Talks, a show where we host notable personalities from around the globe. And in fact, today we have with us one such notable personality, Mr. Mayank Bhola, the co-founder and head of products at Lambda Test, a platform trusted by over 600,000 plus developers and testers worldwide. Lambda Test is the fastest growing testing cloud platform built for the people passionate about software quality and used by companies like Capgemini, Deloitte, Eureka, Brother, and many more to run thousands of manual and automation tests online. So let's welcome Mayank. Hello, Mayank. How are you feeling today?
Feeling really great. Thank you for asking.
Super. As we know, Lambda Test offers a cloud testing platforms for websites and apps around the globe. First of all, could you kindly explain to our audience and viewers who are watching us right now and listening to us what cloud testing is and how it is different from the conventional testing methods, and how does Lambda Test provides a seamless multi-platform experience for users to go beyond the limits of their digital infrastructure?
Sure. And that's a very interesting question because multiple times I have seen our customers juggling with the idea. They're already doing the cloud testing, but they do not know what cloud testing means. So basically, whenever we are trying to use cloud-based infrastructure to do the testing and the test execution, it's actually covered under the cloud-based testing. So basically, it means that instead of using the on-premise infrastructure to use for test execution, we are just harnessing a cloud that is like a remote system placed somewhere out there to do the testing. There are lots of benefits that are in the cloud-based testing. For example, the infrastructure can be scaled up infinitely. Even if today any enterprise does not own any kind of a special infra, they can actually use it on the cloud-based testing because the company that is providing that cloud-based testing is providing those kind of resources to the end customers. For example, let's talk about some customers who are having their websites, and those websites have to be tested across all different versions of Windows, Macintosh, as well as Linux systems. So technically and economically, it might not be feasible for that end customer to own that kind of infrastructure and maintain them on day-to-day basis. But with the cloud-based testing, they'll be able to use and test out their website with the cloud-based resources that is being managed by the cloud testing provider, just like Lambda Test.
Today, more people are spending time on their mobile apps than on any other device. And it has been reported that 70% of all US digital media time comes from the mobile apps. And thus, having to manage the performance and usability of mobile apps are important for any company in maintaining a positive user experience. How can a company adopt an effective mobile app testing strategy, and how does Lambda Test cross-browser testing cloud platform help to seamlessly implement such a strategy?
Again, that's a really insightful question because starting and doing testing from the day one is definitely not a good strategy. Whenever you're trying to build out some product and plan out the testing out there, strategy plays a very key role. And that strategy includes that what are we going to test, because the breadth of the devices that are available in the market is so huge. There are top end devices provided by Apple, and it goes back to very affordable smartphones and some feature phones available. So the testing itself at cloud obviously can be done across all the devices, but it's about the time constraint. So that strategy has to very well articulate that what are we going to target? Because if we try to target everything at once, the testing strategy won't be as effective as it can be. For example, the iterations will take so long and the feedback will be delayed up to a lot of extent. It's like very important for the product strategy guys to sit down and devise a plan on what device they want to test and in what manner. And again, testing on devices can be achieved by testing on either on the emulators and the simulators, which are virtualized miniatures of the actual devices, or on the real devices. Now, there are different testing stages in there. For example, some of the parts of the testing can be easily done over emulators and simulators. And those are very quick to do the feedback as well. So if there's something that is being rapidly developed and does not have to be exhaustively tested from the end user's perspective, it's always advised that we use emulators and the simulators, because these are affordable, these are cheap and very fast to give the feedback. But then at the close of the whole production cycle, if we actually want to test out how my end user is going to experience it, at that time we need to select a short subset of the end user devices that majority of my customers are using, and then test them over the cloud. Now, why Lambda Test plays a very pivotal role and can help accelerate this kind of testing is because we have wide array of devices available. So from entire range that I just spoke about, but then we also have some of the other tools that tie up very tightly into this whole testing cycle. For example, we provide integrations to create bugs in your bug tracking system, such as Jira or any other tool out there. So for the end tester who is actually testing out the website or an application, it's very easy for them to sit in a single platform and from there itself accomplish every other task. They can see the data and they can see the analytics. They have the data at their disposal, and then they have a huge variety of choices over which they can develop. We provide emulators and simulators as well as real devices. So everything that is required to accomplish that testing is provided by the Lambda Test. We take care of the infra and you take care of the test cases. That's what motto line is.
Many enterprises today are required to deliver products within a short time scale, such as a week or a day. This makes it crucial for them to have a quick around time, where automation becomes the key in performing a time-efficient and accurate software development task. Here, the online automation testing platform of Lambda Test will obviously definitely play an integral role in improving the enterprise's efficiency and product output. First, what functions are provided in the online automation testing platform, and how would companies benefit from utilizing the product?
So Lambda Test provides various different kind of integrations and tools to support the developers and the testers at every stage of the testing. For example, we provide, first of all, the testing infra, and that's a core forte. We sit at the south pole of whole testing market. We do not provide tools to write the test cases, but we provide the infra, automation, as well as the orchestration that is required to execute test cases at scale. These test cases could range from manually testing out websites or the applications on the end user's devices, or these could be as sophisticated as writing Playwright Selenium test scripts. And we have just recently launched Hyper Execute, which is our test orchestration platform that takes testing up to a whole new experience, where testers are now only responsible to focus on authoring their test cases and not focus on how to execute those test cases at the best way possible. And our system learns from the historic executions as well as some other parameters and provide very elaborated and sophisticated test execution plans, which were not possible by any human intervention earlier there. So talking again in terms of the tools that we provide and the features that they provide, we have very detailed dashboards and we have very detailed reports so that we provide really polished data back to the users. Our philosophy is that we do not want to throw raw information back to the users, because that will just be a waste of time. And one of our core metric is that whenever a user comes to our platform, they should be spending the least amount of time in figuring out the correct data. And that is what our platform does. We polish that data, we extract out vital chunks, and then provide them in the most consumable form back to the users. It could be their historic runs, the ROI that they're getting from their testing trends, and providing them the most occurring failures, because in testing, the failures are the most important thing that anybody wants to know when they're coming to the platform, because it's not important for them to see what is running. It's very important to see what is not running. And that is what our platform highlights. And we have various different kind of integrations to trigger the test cases. So our philosophy is that our product should be very easily integrable with the whole ecosystem around there, because we sit in a certain place in the software development lifecycle. There are some services and tools that come before and after us, and we want to play very nicely with them so that for the end developer, Lambda Test fits in very smoothly and seamlessly in the entire lifecycle. And on that lines, we provide integrations with the very famous CI/CD providers, test management tools, all of the infrastructures, the issue tracking tools. So the developer, they can just work seamlessly even from our dashboard or from their own native tools. And we do what we do best, that is providing them the infra and the orchestration to run their test cases at the fastest speed possible. Focusing more on the performance side, we believe that the performance is the best feature that a platform can provide to its users. All the other vanity features that appear on the screen, the beautiful graphs, are all secondary if the performance is not up to the mark. And that is why our core forte has always been to increase the performance every time without users spending any more time on it. And we want to make that performance even more affordable. That's what our core aim is.
So Lambda also offers online Cypress and Selenium testing. First, could you explain to our audiences what they are and what are their differences? Also, could you elaborate which frameworks are recommended for different types of users depending on their use case?
Sure. So Selenium started as a browser automation tool, and these days it's being used as an automation framework. So basically, Selenium provides directives to operate the web browser automatically. Now, if you have to simplify for the end users, for example, if user comes and manually visits a website, they have to move their mouse pointer, click on the address bar, type out some address, and then click enter. Now, this whole sequence of actions can be automated because in automation testing, the primary goal is to mimic the end user's interaction with the web browser or the end device. And this is what Selenium does. Selenium is a web automation framework. The Cypress, on the other hand, provides again the same functionalities to automate the end user's interaction with the web browser, but in a separate manner. Although the end goal of both these frameworks is same, to enable users to write automated scripts to test on web browser, but the way they do it is a little bit different. Now, why somebody would use Selenium or Cypress is, first of all, that Cypress is just a newbie on the radar. Cypress does not support Safari web browsers, and Cypress has some limitations while communicating to other web browsers. Now, obviously, this will get fixed in some time because people are picking Cypress very quickly and the market is maturing at a very fast pace. Selenium does have some benefits because it's been around the corner for like more than 15 years now. So a lot of enterprises and a huge community effort has been gone to provide some enhancements on top of it. Selenium is also releasing their new iterations very quickly, and they're also modernizing their stack. So, I mean, that space is very, very interesting right now. So there is no clear demarcation about why would you choose one over the other. And sometimes it also comes as an opinionated decision because Cypress only works on the JavaScript side. So if your team is already using JavaScript, it will be a very natural move to Cypress. But let's say you're using some other language, for example, .NET or maybe Python, it will be difficult for them to port to Cypress. But that being said, Cypress also provides the newer type of features for the customers that helps them divide the test case, orchestrate them. And the best part about Cypress is that it tries to eliminate the latencies that the Selenium architecture has. And that was a core reason why Cypress was born, because the standard Selenium testing architecture-wise takes too many hops in between. And the end result is that the Selenium test cases are slower as compared to Cypress. And that was the core reason that why we also launched HyperExecute. Because we know people love testing in Selenium, but they were forced to move to some other frameworks because of the problems in the way standard Selenium clouds were designed. And HyperExecute tries to bridge that gap. It provides the same feature, some of the same features that Cypress has to Selenium community, but on top of everything, HyperExecute provides better orchestration. HyperExecute provides faster test execution as well as most insightful reports. And that is what we want to bring back to the world, so that they just focus on writing their test cases and letting the platform do the heavy stuff around them.
Lambda Test technology is helping global leading companies such as Apple, Microsoft, Deloitte, and a lot more. So from the perspective of the co-founder and head of products at Lambda Test, what do you think are the key USPs that make Lambda Test to be a preferred partner for global tech organizations?
So I already answered some bit of that question, but focusing on it again, we think that the performance is a core feature of any platform. So before providing anything, we focus on providing the fastest performance of the test execution because that directly translates to the dollars. The more time your team is waiting for the end results of the test case, the more productivity they are losing. So that is why our platform is very performant, in fact, the best performant across the segment. And again, after that, we also believe in providing the very polished information. So instead of throwing data back to the user, we refine that data, make more sense out of it, and then only provide the vital information that is requested by the user. Extending on this, we are also trying to bring in some intelligence on what we can do to enhance the testing experience. And that is what LambdaTest is going to provide in some future iterations. But at its core, our performance, our documentations, our customer support are the most compelling reasons why would anybody choose LambdaTest over any other competitor.
What roadmap would you like to suggest for a growth phase SaaS startup organization? And how is Lambda Test supporting the global startup ecosystem to deliver better applications to the world?
So I'll start by answering your second question first. So as we know that testing is imperative for any other SaaS providing out there, and the startup ecosystem is majorly about providing technology as well as features in a digital manner. And for those startups and the companies, LambdaTest strives to provide a performant platform at an affordable rate, but with the best of the features and the qualities. So that is why, we have lots of tie-ups around there across the globe. We also have a very generous open source initiative where for the open source communities, we provide free testing platform for the entire lifetime. And then we also partner up with enterprises and the companies to provide technologies that tailor their needs, because having a standard testing platform might not be the choice always. And that is why with their new offerings, hyper-execute and test at scale, we make it possible to ship the whole product inside the company's data centers so that they can have more precise control over it. That is our target, that we want to take care of the platform needs for the testing infrastructure across all the types of the companies and the enterprises out there. Talking about the growth phase startups across the SaaS world, although there's no playbook around there because every company goes around in their own way and they face their new challenges that other companies have not faced. But obviously there are some ground rules, and the ground rules are that the customer feedback is very, very important, because ultimately it's the product that customers have to use. So even though the companies can have different sources for information that will fuel up their experiments and hypotheses, it's very, very important to get those experiments at a very fast pace back to the users, because ultimately it's the end paying customer that can tell you about the feedback about what they want and what they don't. And it's very important for the companies to listen back to these nudges as well as signals, because not always these are very pronounced. We have to pay a very close attention about how our customers are reacting to everything. It will not be possible that every 10 things that we roll out in the market are up to the mark or loved by the users. It could be possible that 4 out of those 10 things are gaining major traction. So it's the responsibility of the SaaS companies as well as the teams to focus more on that part, which is gaining more traction, and fixing those other parts and maybe replacing them. And once this thing gets into the constant momentum, things start to figure out and shaping up automatically happens. But then again, situations differs a lot, but takes a lot of consideration about what the background has to tell you.
Okay, Mayank. So now is the time for rapid fire round. So I'm just gonna say one word, whatever comes to your mind first. Any word which pops up in your mind, the first word, you can just say that. And after that, we're gonna have some more questions, which can be more than one word. So are you ready for it?
Absolutely.
So what comes to your mind when I say digital transformation?
Lambda Test.
User interface.
GitHub.
Movies.
Spider-Man.
Unified communications.
Microsoft.
Automation.
Lambda Test.
Yourself.
Passionate developer and a great leader.
Something you wish you knew earlier in life.
Consistency always trumps over the talent.
Your role model.
Elon Musk.
Most productive application.
Slack.
Android or iOS?
Always iOS.
Your success mantra or formula in one line.
Be around great people and always strive to learn.
That was great. And thank you for taking time for us for Notable Talks. Thank you so much, Mayank. I hope you have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you too.
So this is it for this episode of Notable Talks, powered by Microsoft and co-presented by Value Prospect Consulting. We would be back with another episode very soon. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.